Okay, minasan, I have just finished my production and I am here right now to do the Kamen Rider Geats episode 28 review. So without further ado, let us jump straight into it. Let me tell you right from the get-go, this episode is, you know, it's not really wow in some sense or another in terms of the story writing, but at the same time it gives quite a lot of information. I know there are like certain scenes they are trying to hit really well, especially with Jin and the relationship with S, how he developed as a character, like rather than just being a fan of S, looking at S to experience emotion, he finally decide to live his own life, because that is part of the problem that a lot of us is actually facing. Instead of living our own life, we are actually watching other living their best life, and by the like without realizing, we have been wasting most of our time not doing the thing that we always wanted, not experiencing life like how life should actually feel like. And a lot of people at the end of the day is gonna they might live a long life, they might live until 80 years old and something like that, but they only really live their life for kind of like 10 years or maybe 5 years, and that is a really sad reality. And I really love how this episode of Kamen Rider Geats actually give Jin the opportunity to make a decision to, hey, I know I'm still gonna be your number one fan, but right now I'm gonna go live my own life, all thanks to you. You help me find my own path, you help me realize that I need to, in order for me to experience emotions, I need to go out there and experience life myself. And that is something really amazing about the story in this episode. But other than that, this episode have another really spectacular scene, which is the laser boost form. I felt like everyone has been talking about it for the past few days already. I'm already late to the party, so I'm not gonna jump too much into detail on how good the suit actually looks, but I just want to make a talk about how the laser boost form fight scene against Beroba Glare 2 is so amazing. I really love how they did the action scene. I really felt like it is really well done, even though, like, you know, like when they actually switch to a camera with the resolution is not that high, there's a little bit of a lot of like dirtiness to the lens, something like that. But you know, yeah, give and take. Okay, you want cool action scene in a low budget television show, this is what you get. But I really enjoy it, I really love it. And the finisher kick, the rider kick of laser booth Geats is similar to the one that we actually saw in the Battle Familia, with the Igarashi siblings all henshin into the Kamen Rider Igarashi. It is the same rider kick. So I'm not sure why. Maybe because they have the same director, or maybe they have the same producer, or same something. Okay? So like one of them has to be the same person, something like that. So with that being said, let me talk about a big thing, which is Ukyo S. Ukyo S is the main character of the show, and I'm really glad that we actually get to see the return of the Caesar coin. So we are still not sure like what is the significant meaning behind that Caesar coin itself. Like, who is like the first reincarnation of Ukyo S? Like, we know his name has always been S for his entire life. Okay, like his entire life his name is always gonna be Ace or Asu in Japanese, something like that. But we actually get to see the coin returning to him in every single lifetime. So it almost seems like he is living in a loop of life. Like, just like in the episode, he also says something like he's living in the same loop of life. He died, reincarnated again, and he's been doing this over the past 2000 years. And this is the time when we need to do a little bit of calculation. So averagely, one person can live up to maybe 100 years old back in the day. So 100 years old in a 1000 year means 10 lifetime. He has already survived 10 lifetime of his life, and after maybe like 1000 years later, like people's lifespan start to get shortened and shortened, like from 100 to 80 to 50. So I would say, give and take, he will at least have 28 reincarnation in the past. Okay, so I'm not sure what is the exact amount of number of reincarnation that Ukiyo-S actually have, but my speculation is 28. And right now, so far, we saw only 5 version of Ukiyo-S. We know that there is an A, and then S Lee, and then there's like Yakumo Eisu, and then we got S Garfield, and lastly we got Ukiyo-S. So 5 S we know so far. Are we gonna see more S? I don't think we're gonna see more S, but are we gonna see more names of different S in the past, or maybe from the future as well, since there is a possibility that they are gonna, after S die, there's gonna be a future S, you know, that actually participate in the DGP as well. And if we look at time, like a lot of us like couldn't really understand what is actually going on, especially if you watch the current MCU and something like that, with all the time travel bullshit, something like that. A lot of people is not able to really view time from an outsider perspective. When you look at a timeline from an outsider perspective, it becomes kind of like a donut. Okay, like a donut, it is a circle, it is a round thing, and everything happen at the same time all the time. Okay, so what does this mean? When I say everything is happening at the same time all the time, means that all the DGP over different time period all happen simultaneously at the same time when you look at time from an outsider perspective, something like that. So you might actually argue with me in the comment section below, like, hey, like this is the present day, the future is not set yet. But then again, I have to tell you, the people who is currently watching the DGP, the audience of DGP, are from the future. Beroba is from the future, Jin is from the future, so you cannot tell me that there is not a possibility that we are gonna see future reincarnation of Ukiyo-S that also plays in the future DGP that has yet to happen in the present day, but it has already happened in the future, something like that. I hope this makes sense to you, because this would actually make quite a lot of sense, because all of us already know that we are actually gonna get another upgrade for Boost Mark 2. We are gonna go from Boost Mark 2 to Boost Mark 3. How is that gonna happen? I feel like it is gonna be 4 from the past and 4 from the future, plus 1 present day, and then we're gonna get a 9-tailed kitsune, and that is gonna be so amazing. Okay, but with that being said, let us move on to the next thing. Right now we need to talk about the people from the future, the DGP people. We get Beroba and we got Jin, and a lot of them are able to design their life exactly to detail, down to the minor detail on exactly how they want to live their life. And we need to ask this one thing, like, what is the people of the future looking for right now? Because like Jin, he is looking for emotions, and he can only find emotion if he actually live his own life. And it is the same for Kekera and also for Kyun as well. We are not sure what Kekera wants, but we know Kyun wants Neon to find true love, something like that. So, and we are not very sure why, but maybe Kyun himself would love to experience real love as well. Like, he wants the same thing that Neon Kurama actually wants, and that is why, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, he observed Neon Kurama, hoping that Neon Kurama is able to give him the feeling that he always wanted to have. Just think about it like a TV show. Like, when you want to feel emotional, when you want to feel love, you watch a love drama or a romantic series, something like that. If you want to feel a little bit afraid or something like that, you go and watch some supernatural shit, and you watch some horror movie, something like that, to, you know, like kind of like make yourself afraid, rather than going to a haunted place yourself. Okay, you watch a movie about a haunted place, something like that. So this is something that I felt like a lot of people has been doing, and you know, it's part of life. Okay, like, instead of playing sports, you watch people playing sports, something like that. Okay, so it doesn't make sense, but then at the same time it makes sense. So let me move on to Beroba. Beroba, today we get to learn that she is actually 350 years old, and this is really interesting, because this shows that Beroba might not actually be a kind of like a nasty person in the beginning, but maybe after so many years of living, she actually find life meaningless. Like, what's the purpose of living? What's the purpose of achieving immortality when there's like no death at all? You know, like after you don't wait, if you don't die, like you're not gonna strive to do your best. You're not gonna strive to do this or do that, something like that. So I kind of understand like why Beroba actually wants to destroy the world just for the fun of it. Like for her, this timeline is just another timeline for her to mess around, for her to just kid around, something like that. And if people die, people die. She doesn't give a shit because she came from a timeline where no one give a shit about life, something like that. So Beroba, really amazing stuff. But I would say most surprisingly is like by the end of this episode, we actually get to see Jin giving the laser riser to Ukyo as himself, but he actually took away the laser rise card so that, you know, S is not able to access the power of the laser riser using his ID code, something like he can only use it as an attachment of the desire driver, but he's not able to fully access the form of the laser rise Kamen Rider, something like that. Okay, so this actually makes quite a lot of sense right now on why do they actually choose to give Beroba, Kekira, and Kyun a CG Kamen Rider suit rather than a full-blown real suit that they can actually wear and move around, something like that. Because right now we don't actually get to see the rest of the sponsored rider making a return in the series anymore, and I don't think we're gonna see Kyun fighting. I don't think we're gonna see Kekera fighting anymore, but there's a huge possibility maybe like one more episode or two more episodes of them henshin, but I highly doubt it. Okay, but with that being said, lastly, very interesting stuff after what do I say, after Beroba got defeated by the laser boost form of Ukyo S, the one that come to save Beroba is actually Buffa, but secretly Buffa only wants to steal the vision driver, and we actually get to see Buffa making a declaration towards the goddess of creation that, hey, once I get my hands on the vision driver, I'm gonna make my desire world come true. So what is exactly his desired world? It really made me felt like maybe there's something about Buffa that we are not seeing. Maybe he's hinting at us that there are actually things that he's not telling us, something like that. What if he is not out there to kind of like maybe his wish is not actually trying, like, I mean, like, if his wish is only to have the power to defeat all the rider, it's not really gonna affect the war piece of the war itself. Okay, so I don't really see a problem about this. So I'm not sure what is gonna happen, but this is gonna be really interesting. Like whether or not Buffa is gonna have his next power up thanks to the vision driver is another big question, because if he actually gain access of the goddess of creation and he is allowed to make a wish, he might actually wishes, like I said, if he actually wishes for power that is able to kind of like defeat all the rider, then his next power up could actually be in the form of the vision driver itself. He might actually switch a driver, and that is going to be really interesting moving forward. But that is all from me regarding Kamen Rider Geats episode 28. Very interesting episode, I would say, but next episode is gonna be even more interesting, because next episode we are actually gonna see some sort of interaction between Neon Kurama and also Kyun for the first time, face to face. Like this time Neon knew who Kyun is, and they are not talking from the perspective of a stranger, but this time they are talking literally with one another, knowing who each other actually is. So that is all from me. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you make it this far into the video, I just want to give you a word for you to comment in the comment section below to let me know you actually made it to the end of the video. And that word today is arigato. Arigato is thank you in Japanese, so just type it in the comment section below so that I know that you finished the video. And lastly, before I leave, Arigato for watching this video, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye.